Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. My name's Cassie McQueen, and I'm the Executive Director of Saving Grace here in Central Oregon. If you're new to our Friday updates, we're coming to you live to let you know about what's going on in Saving Grace and share important news with you about what we're seeing. First of all, I want to say that it kind of feels like it's been a bit of a heavy week in our community. Central Oregons are being faced with the reality that school is going to look very different. We still have many, many people in our community who are without jobs and facing financial insecurity. And quite frankly, there's the added stress that COVID-19 is still here. It's not going away. And there are a lot of communities in Central Oregon that are continuing to see the spread. It's really important to me that we continue to remember that the stress of COVID-19 is significant on all of us, but it can be really impactful on survivors and people who are in unsafe relationships. These type of stressors, such as kids being home from school, financial stress, not having a job, they have the potential to increase violence in the home. And we know that while a lot of us are able to keep our kids home, to stay safe, to work remotely, that's not always the case for survivors. Home is not a safe place. And I just want to say that as this crisis continues to go on, I think it's important for us to remember that survivors don't have the same luxury. So we're going to continue to try to bring tools for how either you can support a survivor, or if you are a survivor, where you can make sure to get some resources. So we've got this list today that I want to talk about is how can you support a survivor? If somebody comes to you and shares with you that they have encountered sexual assault, that they are in an unhealthy relationship, what can you do to support? And one of those first steps is simply by believing them, having that capacity to start believing someone, to simply say, I believe you, can validate a survivor's experiences and really give them the confidence to either reach out to you more or to reach out to somebody like Saving Grace. There are other really important things that you can say as well. I'm sorry that this happened to you. And I'm here for you, making sure that a survivor knows that they're not alone in this. As you can imagine, it's an incredibly traumatic experience, incredibly scary. And so knowing that somebody is there with them can be a huge piece of support. A next step is to be supportive. You can say to a survivor, you can tell me as much or as little as you want. It's really important here at Saving Grace. We believe in empowering survivors to choose their own healing, to choose their own next step. And so giving somebody the option to share with you or not is a really supportive thing that you can do. Additionally, you can say things like, this is not your fault, and reminding people that no one ever deserves abuse. There is nothing that anyone ever does to deserve intimate partner violence or sexual assault. Other things that you can say is, I'm really glad that you told me. Thank you for telling me. That must have been really hard. I'm proud of you. And then it's important to ask, how can you help? What can I do to support you? What do you need right now? And most of all, do you want me to go to the hospital with you? Do you want me to help you contact police? You can even, would you like me to help you contact Saving Grace? I'm happy to make a call and find out more. Have you heard of Saving Grace? Again, figuring out how you can support somebody in an unsafe relationship is so important. So we've got this up on our social media. We're going to have more resources on our website here in the future. So again, as you're out there, survivors aren't always able to call law enforcement. They're not always able to call Saving Grace. And sometimes that first person who understands is a friend. It's a family member. It's a coworker. So we'll share these resources and keep on giving you tools as to how you can support survivors. If you are somebody who's in an unsafe relationship, or if you're not sure if you're in an unsafe relationship, again, please don't hesitate in contacting Saving Grace. We've got our helpline number right there. You can also go to saving-grace.org/help. And it'll share all the different ways from our chat line, our helpline, and the different services that we have to help you. So please, if you or anybody that you know even thinks they might need Saving Grace, reach out to us. Now, that being said, we're doing a lot of exciting things and continuing to do these incredible interviews with people from our community. So I actually want to turn it over to Ryan for him to share a little bit about our next Community Voices interview.
Thanks, Cassie. I had the pleasure yesterday of speaking with Dawn Kofer. She works at First Interstate Bank here in Bend. She spoke at our Heroes Day fundraiser back in March before the pandemic hit. And it is a heavier piece. Dawn's sister, Cassie, was murdered by her husband in October of last year in Florida, where they lived. And Dawn is very passionate about talking about her sister, sharing that story so that someone can learn from it, someone can glean from it, that it could have some good in spite of the tragedy. So have a little preview here that we'll share for you right now.
And sometimes when her girls call me and they want advice, I talk to her and I'm like, you need to please help me because I don't know what to tell them necessarily. It is really hard to mother from this far away, and it's really hard to tell them it'll be okay. I mean, it's never going to be okay. They don't have their mom.
It's fire season again, in the ash in the air.
So that is online now. You can go to our website /voices. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So these conversations are incredibly important, especially as we mentioned over the last couple weeks that there's been 2 DV-related homicides here in Central Oregon, and we're not gonna be sitting this one out. We're here for all of you, and please call the helpline if you want to talk any of this through.
Thanks, Ryan, for continuing to have these interviews. Thank you so much, Dawn, for sharing Cassie's story and for sharing how it continues to impact you and the lives of those that were in Cassie's life. It gets me every time. And like Ryan said, it's a little bit of a harder story to watch, but I think it's an important story to tell. It's important to continue to remember that people are not safe always in their relationships, that fatalities happen from intimate partner violence, and that, again, we know that the stress of COVID-19 is going to continue to impact. And I hope that Cassie's story will be able to share with so many of us why it's so important that Saving Grace exists, that these resources exist, and that we as a community are trying to support survivors. Like Ryan said, we're not going to sit this one out. We're going to bring out everything we can to make sure that we're there for you. Finally, I do want to kind of try to end on a good note today. We are so thankful for our incredible partners who are continuing to support us even as they have some challenging times. Just this past week, Strictly Organic hosted a dine-in for us where a percent of their proceeds from that day came directly to Saving Grace to help us impact survivors and have services for survivors. Ryan, how much did we raise? How did it go?
We don't have the total just yet. We'll have that soon, and we'll be able to put that out there probably in next week's weekly update. Last time in January was around $1,000, which is just great for people getting some coffee and tea and pastries and stuff. But in light of what's going on, we're just grateful for all of your support, and we're grateful to a local business like Strictly O for giving back.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Strictly O. You guys are fantastic. And if you're interested in partnering with Saving Grace or seeing how you can help us and help survivors during this time, feel free to go over here to saving-grace.org. There's a contact sheet, and we'd be happy to connect with you and see what we can do together. As always, thank you all for supporting our incredible team, for supporting survivors. I hope you stay safe and stay healthy. Have a good